Hey guys, hey, hello everyone. Good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you are. It is another Thursday and it is Independence. It's actually Independence weekend in Jamaica. Yesterday was Independence Day. Jamaica celebrating 63 years of independence from 1962. Welcome everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining me another Thursday evening, of course. And we're just here tonight to reminisce about the Jamaica track and field legacy. And with me, I have a Jamaican who is also a USA track and field official, and he will be here with me tonight just to reminisce a little bit. But guys, welcome, and thank you for being here. Whether you're coming from Africa, Asia, Antarctica, North America, South America, did I say that? Africa, wherever you're tuning in from, good night. Europe, good night everywhere in the world. It is all about track and field. And now I think all the countries, championship or trials, as we call it in Jamaica, they are over and we are waiting on the selection of the different teams. But guys, welcome. Tonight is just about reminiscing about Jamaica track and field legacy after, well, not really after 63 years, but because we're celebrating 63 years of independence, we decided to go back in time a little bit. And I have a friend with me to help me to bring you some information about our track and field. So don't go anywhere. Stay right where you are. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Don't move.
Jamaica's track and field legacy is unmatched. It is a story of triumph, resilience, and extraordinary talent. But do you know the stories behind the athletes who brought us glory? Hi, I'm HP, founder of HP Chat Track. My mission is simple: to celebrate the rich legacy of Jamaica track and field and shine a light on the incredible people who make it happen. Winning that race was a dream come true, but the journey wasn't easy. It's not just about medals, it's about inspiring the next generation. Jamaica track and field isn't just a sport, it's our pride, our culture, our heart. Every week I sit down with athletes, coaches and fans to bring you stories of dedication, passion and legacy. Plus, we've got exciting news and exclusive insights into the world of track and field. Make your Thursday night be at HP's place. Come hang out with us at HP Chat Track Studio, where track and field is our business. Jamaica, one people, one legacy.
Track and field chat, we say, of course. Good evening, Collie. How are you? How are you?
I'm pretty good, HP.
Awesome. Good evening, everyone. Welcome wherever in the world you are. Welcome. Tonight is about reminiscing a little bit on Jamaica's track and field legacy. We are celebrating independence 63. Yes, Jamaica is celebrating 63 years this year, 2025. And this man is going to help me to share a little bit about the track and field culture and the track and field legacy with you guys. Already I'm seeing Tony P. Tony P, welcome. Vonnie M, 1972 Olympian for Jamaica is in the building. Ivan Saunders is here. Collie, do you know that name? Do you know the name Ivan Saunders?
Familiar with Yvonne Sanders.
1972, she was on the Jamaica 1972 team, and she was on the 1976 team for Canada. But let us get into it. Collie, before we get into the real deal, the real history of our track and field, just tell us a little bit about your roots. Where in Jamaica you're from? What was it like growing up in your community when it was independence? Just tell us a little bit about your roots.
Okay, so um, basically, I was born the year after independence. Um, I grew up in Manchester, a little district outside of Mandeville called Mayday. Went to the Carteret College. Um, from the Carteret College, I went to what was then CAS, now UTech, and then from UTech, I went to teach at Veer for probably about 5 years.
So you're a Manchester man. You're from what we call, what's that? Central Jamaica.
Jamaica,
What is Manchester known from? I know that Saint Elizabeth is known for. They call Saint Elizabeth the. They call it the basket parish.
State Parish.
Yes,
Yes.
Manchester is known for what?
Manchester is known for being very, very cool.
True, that's true.
Cool, probably the coolest parish in Jamaica. Um, Probably the only parish without a river.
Wow, wow. No, no, you're going to wake up ansness right there because I don't even know. All I know is that Ocherias have the most river. That is all I know. That's the most I know as it relates to river. But you attended the Cartridge College. A lot of us don't know about that school. Tell us a little bit about the Cartridge College and what it is about when it was, established, if you remember that. Because we don't know anything about that school, which parish it is in.
Well, the Carteret College is in Manchester, um, founded by the Anglican Diocese. It is actually older than Kingston College by I think like 3 or 4 years.
What?
Yes. We share the same colors, purple and white. It's a smaller school. It was a boarding school for many years, a private boarding school for many years. It became uh, what we call a grant aided or a government school in 1975. It was actually an all boys school up to 1975. 1976, um, the first set of girls started the Catholic College.
Wow. Very interesting history there, guys. And for those of you who have no idea which school is the Carteret College, it is in Manchester, the coolest parish
Yeah,
in
so
Jamaica.
you'll find Manchester High, Bishop Gibson,
Mm-hmm.
Bel Air, the Carteret. They're all within a 5 mile radius of each other in Mandeville.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. So tonight we're learning a little bit. After all, it is Jamaica's 63rd. I was going to say Olympic Games. Track and field is so embedded in me that every other word have to do with track and field. But of course, guys, the Carteret College in Manchester, Jamaica, and tonight we're learning that they are actually older than Kingston College. They wear the same colors. They're Anglican. What else? They were all boys school before, and they are now a co-ed high school. They are a co-ed high school. But I want to share something with you about your school. I don't know if you know this, but your school, the Carteret College in Manchester, is one of the many schools that have produced Olympians. Did you know that? Did you know that your school is on the list of schools that produce Olympians? Okay, I think he's having some internet issues there, guys. This is a part that I really don't like when there is a technical difficulties. I love it when things flow, of course, as you can see. Okay, your screen was just freezing up a little bit, Kali, but you're back with us. Thank you for that. I was just saying that I'm going to share something with you about your school that you're not aware of. Are you aware that your school produce Olympians?
Alwyn Chambers,
Wow, wow. Peter Matthews.
Peter Matthews came after.
Peter Matthews was in 2016. But the thing about Chambers is that because Chambers did not compete, he was not considered an Olympian.
Yeah.
Right, right. You have to compete at the games to be considered. So the Cartridge College is on the list of schools with Olympians, and that's what we're here to talk about: the Jamaica track and field legacy, our independence, how we were, how far we've come. And I just want to say welcome to Coach's Desk, who is also here. Good evening, sir. Good evening. Thank you for being here. But let us fast forward a little bit, Kali. Earlier in your introduction, you said you taught at Veer Technical from 1984 to 1989, one of the top contributors to our track and field legacy. What made Champs so special back in those days? I want you to tell us about Champs back in those days because we don't know.
And it was, well, during that time, that was when you pretty much was in the middle of the Veer dynasty. Um, I went there, I think it's just after, well, Etlin Tate was still there when I went. Beverly
Good
Mac
night.
was
Good
there.
night to Ethelyn Tate if you're watching. She's normally here.
Uh,
Continue.
Beverly McDonald was there at the time. Um, about that era was special, and they had a rivalry with San Diego at the time. And Vera and San Diego pretty much were um, green and gold. A lot of the coaches knew each other very well. I mean, so that was pretty much a big rivalry back then. Um, but it was special because even though Vera was would usually be predicted to win, there was always that outside chance of Diego upsetting them, and that made it very very interesting each year.
You talk about the colors of Veer Technical and St. Jago, and you're right. And the thing about them is that both schools are in central Jamaica, and they are two of the biggest rivals. Guys, if you're just joining us, happy independence to you, happy independence to Jamaica. We're just here tonight reflecting or reminiscing on our track and field legacy. And of course, Kali, who is a USA track and field official, is here to help me to share some of our history with you guys. Kali, you have been at Veer Technical during the time when Veer had their winning streak of 15 years straight that started from 1979. Of course, it was disrupted by Manchester High. Manchester High stopped them at 15 in 1994. Share with us some of the stories while you were at Veer Technical. Share with us some of the stories that you would have heard, some of the stories that you know among the schools, the athletes of Veer. Back then, boys champs was separate from girls champs. Yeah, give us a little bit more. Give us
Uh,
some more stories.
Girls champs was what Thursday, Friday
Mm-hmm.
for boys champs, and boys champs went. I think it was a Friday, Saturday,
Boys Champs, I think, was Thursday to Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
So um, and girls champs is usually girls champs was more of a low key championship back then.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Bear was on a streak, most people went to see. Um, was a Friday night was usually the big night at girls champs, and well, stories. Not a lot of stories to tell in terms of you know the interesting thing is who was at there when that streak was there. You know, like I mentioned, the likes of Etlin Tate, Diane Hemmings, Beverly McDonald, the Turner sisters,
Mm-hmm.
um, Debbie Ann Paris, hurdler,
Lassina Golden Clark.
Lassina Golden Clark. I actually taught Lassina. Well, a lot of it, at least I did teach, whether I tutored them in math or I had an actual class with them. So um, they were a very special group.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. So what was it like you independence? Let's talk about independence a little bit because we're looking about track and field and independence. As a little boy growing up in Manchester and in Jamaica, when it was independence time for you, what can you remember about celebrating independence and hearing the songs, the festival songs was a big part of my era, which was in the 80s and the 90s.
It was growing up in Manchester, it was a big thing. The big thing, um, and you had what we call street dance.
Wow.
So basically, what they basically had was they would have these trucks with sound system that would go from district to district, and they'd keep a celebration pretty much the week leading up to independence. And then you'd have the big celebration, similar to what you have the Grand Gala. You'll have something like a similar gala in the parish capital on Independence Day. So you can go to the local district square where you would hear the festival songs, and you'd have a night of celebration, and then you'll eventually go to the Grand Gala in the parish capital to finish your celebration.
So you're saying back in your time, independence where you have every community had their own little thing going on.
Well, yeah, every community would have a little um, street dance
Wow.
sponsored by the parish council. So the parish council would have roving trucks going from different district to district and having street dance.
Wow. Sounds like those days were the real days. But when I was growing up, I turned teen. I turned teenager in the 80s. And what I remember more than anything else for independence was because I never used to go to the Grand Gala. I never go to the Grand Gala until I became an adult. So but when it was independent, you could know by the festival songs. You had the astronauts, you had the Stanley and the Turbine, you had Toots Hibbert, you had all of those people. You had what's his name? Oh my gosh, he was a famous
Donaldson.
Donaldson, Eric Donaldson, Roy Ryan, those people. Yeah, those people would lay it out, and you would know from you
Yeah,
hear those songs playing on the radio, you know that okay, it's time to start cleaning up the yard because independence
it's
is
coming
coming,
around.
it's coming around, and this was way before we had Emancipation Day. But
But
going back to track and field a little bit, 1962 champs. Kingston College won boys champs 1962, and St. Andrew High School won 1962 for the girls. Now, St. Andrew High School is a school of Miss Vilma Charlton, three-time Olympian Vilma Charlton,
Yeah.
Megan Topper, and Janet Burke. And I am saying to you, Kali, how would you describe Jamaica's track and field history to the youngsters of this generation who are unaware that our legacy started way before 2008?
Well, um, a lot of people have not really looked back at where we're coming from. And you go back to Vilma Charlton, but if you go back even further
Oh,
to
yes.
Herb McKinley,
Mhm.
um, you know, you,
Let us go even further back to one Mr. G.C. Foster.
yeah. So we've had a long history of track and field. I mean, one of the
Over
interest,
over 100 years.
yep, one of the interesting thing that, and I just discovered this recently, that we actually had a pole vaulter who actually won in an international game. Can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but we we tend to associate track and field with 100, 200, 400, and that's where we basically stop.
And that's what we're promoting also. That's what we're promoting.
A lot of the youngsters seem to forget that um, there's more to track and field than just sprinting. Okay, and like you look at it and you go recently where we started producing jumpers and throwers. It's not that they haven't been there; they've always been there. It's just that um, we never coached jumpers and throwers.
Hmm.
Jumpers were throwers were just okay. I think you're strong enough to throw this. You can throw this. Go out there and throw this. Okay, and the techniques weren't refined. They weren't coached. So basically, um, wherever your strength ended, that was it.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. But you know what? A lot of Jamaican fans and athletes don't realize one of our first global medal, one of our first global medal that we won was in the it was in the long jump.
Yeah,
It was in the long jump by someone by the name of Joe Mackenzie. And guess who was the head coach of that team? Mr. G.C. Foster, 1930.
yep,
But a lot of people don't remember those things, and of course we're going to look at a little bit of that. Let us welcome Kerry Ann Phillips. Let us welcome another Olympian, formerly of VER, the school that you taught, Kali. The name is Vivienne Spence Morano. I don't know if you know that name, but Vivienne was on the 1988 team. Monica Lewis, welcome, welcome to you. Happy Independence to you, guys. Daniel England, greetings. He said, good evening. And he's saying, blessings. Kali is in the building. So I will take it that Kali is familiar
yeah.
with
I'm familiar with
the name Daniel England, who
uh,
is, go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Tell the story.
Vivian Spence. I think she left there in 1983. I think that's about where 1982, 83, somewhere around there. She would be familiar with a young lady named Maureen Wilshire, if I'm not mistaken.
Vivian,
Uh,
you need to come to the comments and confirm that you left VER 1983 and if what Mr. Colley is saying is true. But Vivian Spence is formerly of VER, and she more likely would have been there while you were a teacher there.
I probably came just after she left. Either she left or 1 year. We spent 1 year together at Veer.
Okay.
But her name is familiar.
Yes, she is an Olympian, 1988 Olympian.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let us share, before you go any further, let us share some information with the audience, some historic information as we go along. Who is G.C. Foster? Who is this man? Okay, Gerald Claude Eugene Foster is his name. And of course, for short, G.C. Foster. He is one of Jamaica's most iconic sportsmen and a pioneer in track and field. He is a renowned athlete, coach, and an administrator. Mr. Foster's legacy is deeply rooted in the development of sports in Jamaica. Listen to this now, 1908, which was just the beginning of the modern Olympic Games. Mr. G.C. Foster, 1908, he became the first Jamaican to qualify for an Olympic Games. How many people remember that?
Not a,
Happy Happy Independence, Jamaica. Mr. G.C. Foster was the first or one of the first to qualify for an Olympic Games in 1908. He qualified for the 100 meters. He met the qualifying time, but guess what? Unfortunately, he could not compete at the Olympic Games because Jamaica was not yet a member of the IOC. So he went to the Olympic Games and watched from the stands. He dominated the 100 meters in his time in a championship in Jamaica. They call it Jamaica Open Championship. I don't even know what that championship is. So anybody who knows anything about that championship, please to enlighten us because we're here to learn. We're here to learn about the legacy. It is our independence, and we should be learning about everything. But Kali, um, it is Jamaica independence, 63, as we kept saying. How would you celebrate Mr. G.C. Foster's contribution to our track and field legacy?
very interesting question. Well, first thing we've got to go back and look at his history because a lot of people don't know his contribution.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, you look at the different government accolades, and he should be well celebrated with a government accolade, even though he is, I mean, well established with G.C. Foster College. Not a lot of people know about his history.
True. That is true. True. And this is why I try to highlight these things because I sometimes when I talk to track fans, and I have a lot of friends who are younger than I am, and when I talk about certain people in track and field, they are clueless. And of course, I'm going to call another name. But before we go any further, happy Independence, Jamaica, everyone in Jamaica, wherever you are in the world. This is HP Chat Track. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, please. Thank you very much. We're just here to reminisce and to reflect on Jamaica track and field legacy as we celebrate 63 years. And of course, with me is Collie Smith, someone who has been a part of our track and field. Taught at Veer Technical, he went to the Carteret College in Manchester. For those of you who are not aware of that school and where it is in Manchester. Another Olympian just joined us, Dorothy Scott Genius, formerly of Veer. Do you know that name, Collie?
Um, Again, somebody who went to Veer prior to when I was there.
Yeah. Yes,
Uh,
another standout from Veer Technical and the Carifta game. I think Dorothy is the first Jamaican woman to make an Olympic final in the long jump. Outstanding. Remarkable, remarkable. But Kali, let me just say this to you. Many young athletes and fans, as we've been saying, would not know names like Mr. G.C. Foster, the name Foggy Burrows, Pat Anderson, Glenn Mills, Mike Fennell, Ben Francis, Howard Aries, Teddy McCook. These men and a lot of others have contributed so much to our legacy. How would you document this legacy for generation after generation to know and understand that we are a big deal in this sport?
Um, I mean, you've mentioned some giants in the sport. Um, a lot of these people, um, their legacy has not been documented. When you take somebody like Ben Francis, a lot of people just look at Ben Francis as, oh, he was just the principal at Veer. Um, One of those persons who was instrumental in a lot of um, teams going to pen relays. While I was there, he was very, very. This was like there has to be a team going to pen relays every year. You know? And these are things that contribute to our success as a track and field country because we were now exposed even as youngsters to the world of track and field outside of Jamaica.
Indeed, indeed. Mr. Ben Francis, Mr. Ben Francis and Foggy Burrows. I learned about those people and even Mr. GC Foster after the fact. I mean, I've had opportunities to talk with Glenn Mills. I've had conversations with some very interesting conversation with Glenn Mills off the air. Cannot get him to come on the air, but I've had discussion with him off air. I've seen Mr. Mike Fennell in action for over 30 years, giving back the JOA and so forth. Teddy McCook himself, all these, Mr. Howard Harris, and all these people. But I've heard about a man named Foggy Burrows that I don't know if you know any story about him, if you've ever met him, if
I have never met Foggy Burrows. Not much stories about Foggy Burrows. Um,
but he has done a lot for our track and field based on what I've heard. He has done a lot. I've heard from a lot of Olympians. I've heard it from Dorothy Scott. I've heard it from Lily Hodges. I've heard it from so many people, Vivian. I've heard it from all these athletes over and over. Ruth Williams Simpson, that Foggy Burrows, even though he was a part of the Kingston College setup,
yeah,
but it was about athletes all over the country, doesn't matter which school you are from. And let me just share a little bit more historic information. Mr. G.C. Foster, he was called the father of Jamaica track and field. That's what they call him. He became a coach after he retired from the sport, and he was deeply influencing school sports, not just the school that he went to, but all schools. There was another name I came across in my research, Frederick Smith. I don't know who that person is, but when I was doing my research, the name came up. I've been asking about him, and it is said that he was a key figure in organizing inter-schools competition in the early 20th centuries. We're talking about from 19 come all the way up the 19 era. Another name that came up was Leslie Robinson, saying that he was an early sport administrator and educator, and he worked to bring champs to national prominence in the 40s. Um, Research is really bringing some
Um,
pioneers to the fore, Collie. Just a, in just a few and many. But Collie, can you stop? Can you just stop for a minute and just reflect on how blessed we are with talents, talents in athletes, talents in coaches, talent in administrators.
well, if you go back and you look at the history that we have, it boys and girls champs is probably one of the longest championship for high school
Mm-hmm.
in probably the world.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
And it's going to become one of the premier high school track and field event in the world. Gibson Relays, another premier
Mhm.
event.
Yeah, started what, 1974 or 1976, somewhere about there. Maybe 50 years, almost 50 years or something like that.
It is again, it's one of the premier track and field event. Okay. Um, when when I started officiating in the US, and um, I used to tell people that look, we had a high school championship, and the high school championship was scheduled to finish at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, and it was going to finish at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. It ran on a schedule. Okay. And they said, it doesn't work. I said, it does work. Okay. Gibson Relays, 1 day relay championship, again, run on a schedule. You're talking about administration, coordination to get everything done on time in 1 day. Um, Look at our athletes. They have been blessed with very good coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, coaches who have taken them a very long way. Um, why his
On,
name is?
on minimum, and what you would call minimum or minimal resources.
I mean, let's be frank. Okay, 95% of the schools in Jamaica run on a grass track. They train on a grass track. Okay, they don't have weight rooms. Okay, but yet they are competing.
And they are competitive.
And if you look at where um, where champs is going now, when you look at the different schools that are producing competitive athletes on minimum, minimum. You talk about schools like Petersfield,
Mushet.
Port Antonio,
Mm-hmm.
talk about Buff Bay.
You talk about Bushet High in Trelawney also.
Hi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You talk about
Lacovia. Look at Lacovia.
Port Lacovia. You talk about Spaldings, which was what's it?
That's the Alphonsus Davis. Spalding is now.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And these schools are producing on minimum. Now,
On grass. And if you look at most of these pitch, even though it's grass, but underneath that grass, stone.
yeah.
It's not a smooth surface.
Okay.
It's not the smoothest surface.
And they are producing.
Wow. Happy Independence, Jamaica. We are, as they say, we little but we talawa. We make it work anyhow we have to make it work.
Yes, we do. Yeah. And then now you start to go into the factor of getting more resources to these schools.
Yeah.
Okay? Because it's these schools that are going to um, produce that those talent that we are going to be losing. So
Yeah. Yep.
we need to get resources to these schools.
Yeah. We I think as a country, what we need to do is to come together as a country and see how we can help the schools that are lacking in resources instead of, and I know that a lot of it is driven by alumni, but I think we need to share the resources. We need to share with other schools, the big schools. I know it is a competition and it is very competitive, but if we're looking at the bigger vision, because our vision is Olympic and World Championship medal, it doesn't matter which school you go. Because if we look at the data, if we look at the data right now of Olympians and Olympians who have gone in the middle of the podium, a lot of them are from non-traditional schools who would not have had the resources. All right,
Yeah.
look at William Nib when Usain Bolt was at William Nib.
Wasn't wasn't a track school.
It wasn't a track school. Usain Bolt could not even run relay at champs because he had no teammates. He had no teammates. So I think a way to sustain what we have and to keep it going, we need to now start pooling or finding a way to not just give the top schools like Calabar and KC and JC and whatever, but look at the schools in Jamaica and said, okay, this year I want to help Mushed High School with some hurdles, with some weights to set up a gym at their school. I want to help Alphonsus Davis that has a very good middle long distance program.
A good program, yeah.
Send them some stuff. The diaspora need to now start looking at Jamaica as a whole instead of just the school that we attended. Is that a bad idea?
No, it's not. Actually, it's what will work if we're going to look at the big picture.
Yeah.
If we're going to keep producing top quality athletes, we have to look at the whole picture, not just the individual school or the individual championship.
Yeah. Let us not just look at champs. To me, champs is the mission, but Jamaica is the vision.
Yeah.
And champs as the mission, and the mission is supposed to get to where you want your vision to be. So I think we now need to look at a wider thing. But let me just share some more information here, Kali, with the audience, just to educate them a little bit more. More historic information for you guys. Despite a spectacular achievements from Mr. GC Foster, at the annual athletic championship, making the Olympic qualifying time 1908. He continued to compete, but that championship was increasingly marginalized. And as organized athletics in Jamaica became more and more focused on competition, guess what was the focus, Mr. Colley? Champs.
Champs.
Champs was the focus, even though we had senior athletes who were doing so well and wanted to compete at the highest level. The focus was still on champs. So what Mr. GC Foster did, he retired somewhere in about 1915, 1916, thereabout, from competition. And Jamaica, one of Jamaica's first track and field coaches were born. in Mr. GC Foster. And he became one of Jamaica's legendary coaches. Jamaica's first international competition was in Havana, Cuba, and that team was led by one Mr. GC Foster, where Team Jamaica won a silver medal, as I said earlier, by Joe Mackenzie in the long jump 1930. We never born yet, not even my parents.
Okay.
Not even my parents was born when Jamaica was doing great things. So can you have an idea now where we started? The team again to the 1938 CAC games. Who was a part of that team again? Mr. GC Foster. Guess which prominent athlete was also a part of that team? He was 18 at the time. 18-year-old Arthur Wint was a member
Of
of
that.
that 1938 team. And of course, GC Foster continued to coach Mr. Arthur Wint after he left Calabar in 1937, and under the guidance of Mr. G.C. Foster, Arthur Wint's sprinting technique improved dramatically, where he made a vast differences in the middle and long distance. Now, Collie, Mr. G.C. Foster started the trend. He started two trends. One, that you can coach in Jamaica. Coaching can be done at home in Jamaica, and also you can coach world beaters from home. Any thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, if you go back again, most of our world beaters have are homegrown. there's no there's no doubt about most of our top athletes are homegrown, coached by
Champs. Yeah.
um, homegrown coach.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Mr. GC Foster let us know that look, it can be done here. And a little bit after that, I'm going to read something again that this man was really a visionary. Let us welcome Ethelyn Tate. Do you know that name, Carly Smith? Do you know
Yeah.
the name Ethelyn Tate? Ethelyn, welcome, 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 Ethelyn. Welcome to the program. Welcome, everyone, wherever you are. We're just here in independence celebration, reflecting on Jamaica and Jamaica's rich track and field legacy that is over 100 years old. And with me is Carly Smith. Ethelyn Tate is in the building, aka Yvonne Tate. Carly, our history is a big deal. You, as an official, you're a USA track and field official.
Yes.
Let us talk about that little before I share some more historic information. As a track and field official, what is one of the toughest decisions that you've ever had to make against an athlete, or you've never been put in that position?
It's not it's not a tough decision. I mean, you apply the rules.
Have you ever have to disqualify an athlete?
Yes, I've had to disqualify an athlete. And a matter of fact, I'll tell you an interesting story. Um, my brother-in-law, he was coaching at a high school. He was an assistant coach at the high school. His daughter run track for them. Well, they were at this track meet in Gainesville, and we were both in zone 3. Well, the team that he coached, the school that he coached, ran out of the box.
Wow.
Okay. And it was an easy decision. They ran out of the box.
Wow.
Okay. So it didn't come into play which team it was. If you look at it, you go, okay, forget about the team. Forget about the colors. Concentrate on the lane. Doesn't matter. It was a lane violation. Lane 4 ran out of the box. I don't know who was in lane 4, but lane 4 was out of the box.
Wow.
Another interesting story is I was doing another track meet. I was doing a throwing event, and my niece was throwing. And after the event, she came up to me and said hi, hello, and everything. So one of the coach asked me, "Do you know her?" And I said, "Yes, she's my niece." I said, "Well," he says, "but um, isn't that like a conflict of interest?" I said, "Actually, no. She was in competition, and I was an official. The niece thing came in
Afterwards.
afterwards." Okay, so I wouldn't say it doesn't happen, but it shouldn't really happen. If you apply the
Right, right, right.
rules, it's there's no two ways about the rules.
I tell people if you apply the rules, you cannot get in trouble. Where you get in trouble is if you try to manipulate the rules.
Yeah.
Wow. So let me ask you now, as an official, are you one of the officials who will look at the computer to see if a false start was actually a false start or a faulty start?
Well, I am not a starter.
Okay.
Okay, I am more of a throws. I'm more of a throws official, and I actually my specialty is electronic measuring. So I really measure measure throws. That's basically what my
Okay.
specialty is.
Okay, okay. You know what I think we need to do, Kali, and this is just me saying something. I watch the football during I only watch it during Super Bowl. And
Right?
one I think I like that the referee does when they're caught making a call against a team, they they make an announcement that there was a foul and da 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 and da da da. I think in track and field maybe we need to do this because what is happening sometimes the fans they're not seeing the false start with the naked eye, and then if the official or the starter make a call against an athlete who is a favorite, then the entire arena is upset because their naked eye did not tell them that that person actually false starts. I'm saying this is something that we could apply in track and field where let's say Usain Bolt false start, and if they go to the computer and realize that his reaction time is greater than what, zero point 0.1,
Yeah.
then they just make an announcement to the stadium and said, okay, Usain Bolt has false started as a result of his reaction time was zero point 0.1 something something. And
Well,
then that way you can get the fans to understand the sport and the rules, but to just come out with a red card and do this,
it,
I don't.
it's very interesting that you mentioned that because my understanding is, and I may be wrong, that when you're using a computer system for your false start, you should have a printout of the reaction time. Okay. Now,
And you give that printout to the athlete that is
you don't necessarily have to give the athlete, but what I'm saying there should be. That's my
oh, should
understanding.
be okay, okay, okay.
Now, like everything else, okay, we can generate the results on the scoreboard. Okay, you can see the result on the scoreboard at the finish line. You have a false start, you should be able to run the reaction
The
time.
reaction time, right? What I've seen, I mean, we've seen the wind reading all the time, minus wind, plus wind, this wind. But why are we need to see, fans need to see the reaction time and to understand, and then this is how you educate your fans to say, okay, the legal reaction time is zero point 0.1, and if you react less than zero point 0.1, so let's say your reaction time is what, zero point 0 whatever,
Right.
then automatically you are out. I think there needs to be more transparency between the
That,
start.
that is the word, transparency. Okay, because what we saw at champs this year, there was no transparency in that. You were given a false start, and that was it.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, so your reaction time was less than that, and you didn't have reaction time for anybody else in the race. Huh?
You saw that. Thank you very much. There was a race, Collie. There was a race, and I will call the race the 100-meter semi-final. When you went back and you look at the result, if you go back and look at the result, the young man from Calabar that was disqualified, yes, he had a reaction time faster than, it was illegal. But there was also another young man from another school that I will not call the name that had a similar reaction time, and he was allowed to run. So the inconsistency of the officiating, I think that was why a lot of people were upset. And then when you look at the final, everybody has had a reaction time except the winner. Now, where is the transparency? And I'm
That
saying,
that's what you have to ask. I mean, as officials, we have to do a better job. And it's being familiar with the equipment that you're using. Okay? So I do electronic measuring, and I will spend October, November, December fine tuning my skills, troubleshooting, doing things that will throw an error into it and trying to figure out why am I getting this error. Okay, you can't wait until
the day of competition.
competition to go through all of this. It doesn't work.
I totally agree with you. So as a USA track and field official, are you constantly in training? Are you guys, or once you've done the course, that's it? How does it work?
Okay, so um, every 4 year you have to do your examination over. Okay, so but in addition to doing the examination throughout the year, there are multi courses going on. Each association will run clinics throughout the year, so you're constantly getting knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're constantly having different clinics that you can go to, and a lot of these clinics are online. Okay, you have rule review sessions where you can go over all the rules or go over different rules, and you can have a rule review on throws. You probably have a 2 hour rule review on throws. 1 month, next month you'll probably do jumps. You'll probably do referees, marshal, and you constantly have all these rule reviews and clinics going on. So even though it's every 4 years you have to redo your exam, you're basically doing a lot of refresher course throughout the year.
Interesting. Before we go any further, let us welcome Lilith Hodges. Collie, do you know that name?
Yes. Yeah, I saw her run in her latter days. I was still a youngster when she was running.
Little Miss Dynamo Lilith Hodges, formerly of which school?
Now that I don't know.
I have a question for you on that. I'm not going to tell you which school, but Lilith went to a school with, if I call certain names, you're going to know exactly where she went to school. But we will get to that. Welcome, Lilith Hodges is in the building, three-time Olympian, 1972, 1976, and 1980. Lilith Hodges, one of my many favorites. Um, Let us share some more information. Guys, remember to like, share, because this is about independence. This is about our legacy. And we're just reminiscing here tonight, talking about some of the athletes, especially those from the earlier days, to let you understand that our track and field dominance did not just start 2008. Wink, wink. Just some more information for you. Okay. So I read earlier about Mr. G.C. Foster leading Jamaica to the 1930s games, but the big one came, the Olympic Games. The Olympic Games came, and the birth of a rivalry came, of the rivalry between Jamaica and the United States, leading into the 1940s, the 1948 games. It should have been 1940 and 1944, but of course, World War came 1939, and the Olympic Games were canceled for two years, 1940 and 1944. So Jamaica was very much there. 1948, Jamaica first Olympic Games. And who remember that Jamaica won a quinella in the 400 meter with Mr. Arthur Wint and Herb McKinley, gold and silver respectively. And of course, we relegated the United States to third in that race. And of course, guys, that was where the rivalry between Jamaica and the United States started. The rivalry did not start with Usain Bolt and Justin Gatlin. It started from way back then. And I'm going to tell you a little story. I had an interview with Herb McKinley's son on this same platform, Herb Jr. And Herb Jr. told me that Mr. Arthur Wynn wanted Herb to win that race. Listen now. Um, he said in the 400 meters at the 1948 games, Herb McKinley initially intended, Arthur Wynn intended for Herb to win. Herb was the favorite, so they wanted Herb to win because that year Herb was undefeated going into the Olympic Games. He was undefeated. He won everything, but guess what? He did not run against Arthur Wint until he get to the Olympic Games. Anyway, Arthur Wint realized Herb was leading that race, and Arthur Wint, who was behind, realized that the American was catching up with Herb, and he said, okay, this is where I need to start moving now, because this medal is going to Jamaica. And of course, Arthur Wind won that race, and Herb McKinley came second. So the rivalry in track and field did not just start. This started from back in the 1940s. So people understand that this man, G.C. Foster, he was actually training Mr. Arthur Wind in Jamaica. Arthur Wind trained in Jamaica. Herb was overseas in university, and of course, he was doing outstanding things. So, Mr. GC Foster shows that look, we can train at home. So, he started that trend that we're seeing now with the MVP and the racers and the elite, and all of that was started with Mr. GC Foster. Collie, I know you're going to say going back into history, but what are your thoughts on this rivalry between USA track and field and Jamaica track and field?
It has been going on for quite a while because you forget Donald Quarry in in
In the 70s.
70s.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Dion Hemmings winning the four hurdles in
Dean,
Atlanta.
Dean Hemmings and Kim Batten.
That was big, big,
Big,
big,
big.
big.
Veronica Campbell and Felix, Alyssa Felix.
Yep. Um, Merlin and all.
Merlin versus, listen to this now. Merlin versus Flojo, Merlin versus Evelyn Ashford, Merlin versus Gwen Torrance, Merlin versus Gail Divas. Oh
Yep.
my,
Okay.
I love this. I love this. Happy independence to us. Our track and field history is rich, 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 Collie.
Very. What was that young man's name? Went to Camperdown.
Who is that? Raymond Stewart?
Man Stewart again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, we've had this rich history.
Very rich history, and a very rich history filled with rivalry, because when you look like even Shelley-Ann, we had Veronica Campbell Brown, Shelley-Ann Fraser Price, Karen Stewart, Aileen Bailey, and Sharon Simpson battling Carmelita Jetta, Lauren Williams, Alyssa Felix, Tori Edwards, Tori Bowie. No, we still have Shelley-Ann battling Shakari. Now
Yep.
we have Sharika battling Shakari, Gabby Thomas, and it continues. We have Kishane Thompson battling Noah Lyles. We have Oblique Civil battling Noah Lyles, and it continues. We had Asafa Powell battling Maurice Green, Tyson Gay.
I mean, it's just a long history of
Yes,
you know uh,
indeed, indeed.
the one thing we would really love to see is more battle in the field events.
And the middle and long distance, the middle and the long distance too.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
middle and the long distance, because when we, if we go back to the 1940s at the Olympic Games, when you saw Herb and Arthur Wind versus the American, then we came back 1952, it was George Roden and Herb battling the American again,
Yeah.
another Quinella.
And then you also forget the Spence brothers.
Malcolm and
Yeah.
Melvin and Malcolm Spence. Outstanding. When you look at people, when you look at Dr. Una Morris, when you look at Audrey Reed, when you look at Vilma Charlton, Basil McKenzie, Byron Dice, Seymour Newman.
Woman.
This is just this. I don't know. I would love to be a part of a team that wants to document our legacy in track and field. I would love to be a part of that research team and putting all of that together for people to read, people to, guys, happy independence. Kali, your thoughts. I see you have a thought.
No, actually, no, I'm just reflecting on Champs 100 book. That's, which has a lot of Champs history in it,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
you know, and how interesting a full draft of the history of athletics in Jamaica would be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We need to do some more documenting, whether we're going to do books, whether we're going to do documentaries. I think we need to do documentaries. I know people will say everything costs money, but this legacy that we have, it needs to be in a place where people want to pay to come and explore it. I think we need to have that. But before we go any further, I want to salute Kali. I want us to salute all the Olympians before 1970. And guys, welcome again. Welcome. I know that we have a lot of Olympians watching. Ethelyn Tate is watching. Vivian Spence is watching. Yvonne Saunders is watching. Dorothy Scott, Genius is watching. Did I say Lily Hodges? They are all watching. And now we are going to salute every Olympian before 1970. And it is independence, and I want us to salute them. So let us go now. You can stop me at any time, Kali, with a question so I can catch my breath. But let us start. Herb McKinley, 1948 and 1952. You know what? Yeah, 1948, 1952. Adeline Mayer Clark, 1964, 1968. Una Morris, Dr. Una Morris, 1964, 1968, 1972. Audrey Reed, who I met recently at Champs, a fine young lady, love to smile, love to laugh. Audrey Reed, 1968, 1972, 1976. Miss Vilma Charlton, one of them that I love dearly, 1964, 1968, and 1972. Basil Mackenzie, 1948. Byron Dice, 1968, 1972. Byron LaBeach, do you know that name?
Heard
1952. Carmen Smith, 1964, 1968. Wow, outstanding. Dr. Cynthia Thompson, 1948. I met this lady maybe more than 15 years ago at the National Stadium. I met her at Champs, and you know what she had with her? Her spikes from when she went to the Olympic Games 1948. And let me tell you, I'm sorry, at that time there was no way to take pictures, but I met her in the stadium and we sat down and I asked her questions, and she was just so excited to talk about the Olympic Games and Jamaica being there and her experience. Dr. Cynthia Thompson, 1948. Clinton Forbes, 1968. Dennis Johnson, 1960, 1964. You must know the name Dennis Johnson.
Dennis Johnson was at CAS as a coach when I was there. And the, the interesting thing about Dennis Johnson is that in order to make the track team, and these were stories, I've never actually seen it, I've just heard that you had to beat him going 40 meters in order to make the track team.
Wow.
And at that time, Dennis Johnson was this big guy, and a lot of people struggled to actually beat him.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. I've heard his name so many times. He is another one that has contributed a lot to our track and field. Dennis Johnson, he has really contributed a lot, a lot. And before I get to the other names, Etlin Tate, who is one of my favorite girl, she's saying awesome HP for saluting our Olympians that paved the way for us. Indeed, happy independence. That is what it is about. And these names that I'm calling, these are all the Olympians who started before 1970. We became independent. We gained our independence 1962, and because of that, I'm saluting all our Olympians before 1970. Let us continue after Mr. Dennis Johnson. Ernell Leighton Hazley, 1956. Errol Stewart, 1968. Mr. George Carr, 1956, 1960, 1964. Do you have any story on Mr. George Carr?
No stories on Scar.
Okay, so let us move on. George Roden, 1948 and 1952. Of course, George Roden was a member of that um, of that gold medal winning record breaking team with Arthur Wind, Herb McKinley, and Leslie. After Mr. George Roden, we have Cynthia Phipps. Cynthia Phipps, or is it No, Carmen Phipps, my bad. Carmen Phipps, 1948. And if memory serves me correctly, Carmen Phipps is the spouse or wife of Mr. Leslie. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the next person is Leslie, 1948 and 1952. Dr. Arthur Wint, who Dr. Arthur Wint was 1948 and 1952. And Dr. Arthur Wint, he was a pilot, he was an athlete, he was a doctor, and he was also an ambassador. Amazing, 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 amazing. We have, after that, we have Hyacinth Walters, 1952. Kathleen Russell, 1948 and 1952. Keith Gardner, 1956 and 1960. We have Lawrence Kahn, 1964. And we have Lennox Miller, 1968, 1972. Lennox Miller is actually the father of the American outstanding athlete, Inga Miller, for those of you who might not know that. Still in the 60s, Lennox Berger, 1964, Lensworth Headley, Malcolm Spence, 1956, 1960, 1964. Melvin Spence, 1956, 1960, 1964. And I think Malcolm and Melville are brothers, and I think they're twins.
Yes, they're twins. They're brothers and twins.
Wow, 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 wow. Amazing. Can you imagine you have twins on 3 Olympic Games, 1956, 1960, and 1964, guys? This is just amazing. Jamaica track and field legacy did not start 2008. It actually started way back in the 20th century, which is 1900s coming forward. Mavis Evelyn, 1948. Michael Frey, 1968, 1972. Neville Mighton, 1964, 1968. Neville Mighton. I'm sure you know that name.
I've
Uh,
heard. Never
Tell
mind.
me
Yeah.
a story so I can catch my breath.
See, you're going way back, way before my time, and with
But
these
it's
guys.
way before my time, too. But yes, Neville Mighton is another one there. 800-meter middle distance. Pablo McNeil, 1964 and 1968. Patrick Robinson, 1964. Richard Estick, 1956. Rupert Hoylett, 1964. Sidney Foster, 1948. Victor Brooks, 1968. Vinton Beckett, who is a female, 1948, and with Leslie Clayton, 1964 and 1968. These are all our Olympians before the 70s, pre and post Jamaica independence. If you think I miss anyone, guys, please let me know. Let me know. Happy independence, Jamaica. Happy independence to all our athletes, everybody involved in track and field. This is an amazing legacy. We're just here reminiscing on our track and field legacy because it is independence in Jamaica. Kali, what are your thoughts on us celebrating 63 years? Did you hear any names that you're familiar with their contribution to the legacy?
Oh yes, quite a few, quite a few that um, stood out.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Your opinion though on your your perspective, your opinion based on your exposure and experience, how can we build on what our pioneers have done to continue this rich legacy even after many of us are gone?
Well, one of the things, and we talked about it earlier, is sharing the resources.
Yeah.
Okay, sharing the knowledge. Um, Sometimes coaches go into a box and they um, will see an athlete and there is slight mechanical issues and we leave it. Coaches don't want to coach other coaches' athlete. Other coaches don't want to give an open eye and see, okay, this coach says this athlete is doing this. Let me take a look at it and see what's going on. Because sometimes, as a coach, we are so focused, we don't see some small things. Okay. Another big thing that as a country, as a nation, we need to look at is mental health of our athletes. Um, I don't think we're doing enough for the mental health of the athlete. We put a lot of pressure on them to perform, and we don't know what's going on mentally with a lot of them, especially kids in high school. We expect performance each and every week. And you got to understand that 3 months period between January and champs, it takes a toll on a lot of the youngsters because you're traveling every weekend to a different track meet. You're training and you're traveling, and you still have to do your schoolwork. And we're not taking care of their mental health.
Totally agree. Totally agree with you. We focus so much on their physical attributes that sometimes we don't realize that they are young, they're trying to navigate life, there's so much happening with them. Let me tell you, I have athletes who will just pick up the phone and call me because they want to talk.
Yeah.
They just want to talk. They'll just call me and they'll say, Miss, I just finished training and I'm heading home now, and I just want to talk to somebody. And I listen to them until they drive home and get home. And I just listen. I
Yeah.
just listen. They're struggling with so many things that we take for granted, that they can just go out there and compete and do what we fans want them to do, not realizing that there's so much they're navigating. And social media has not social media has not made it any easier for them,
No.
sadly. And social media is not the problem, is the people using social media, because social media is a tool that is there for us to connect. Technology is there. Look at how we're connecting now for an interview. You're at a different part in the world, I'm at a different part, and look at us. We don't have to physically join each other to have a discussion anymore. Technology has allowed us to do this, and we need to pay more attention to our athletes. Don't be too quick to bash them because they did not compete or they did not deliver the way we want them to. Yeah, we want them to win the gold medal. Who doesn't want them to win the gold medal? But sometimes you have to ask your question, why did that athlete not perform the
Yeah.
way they should, and they are the favorites?
Yep.
You're in the USA track and field space. How are there rules and laws to protect um, athletes, especially junior athletes? How does it work?
Well, okay. So um, there's what USA track and field described as safe sport, which is, of course, again, to become a track and field official, you have to complete. To become a USA TF coach, you have to complete it as well. Um, I go back just one step here because I did a level one coaching seminar with USATF. And the first part of that level one coaching is basically the mental aspect of the athlete. You have to be aware of the mental aspect of the athlete. Okay, that's one. Two, safe sports basically guides you through how to handle um, abuse, um, bullying, inappropriate approach to an athlete, anything like that that would basically um, harm the athlete outside of um,
In other
their,
words, to protect, there is protection for the athletes, especially the babies.
yes, yes, there's a code that governs um, how you can interact with those athletes. Yeah.
Wow. Can you share a little bit of that? Are you at liberty to share? If you can't, it's okay.
I mean, it's like okay, typical thing. Junior athletes, parent and parent do it. all the time, not realizing that it's it's not really a safe situation. Parent would drop their kids off at practice, leave their kid, and ask coaches to drop their kid off after practice. Well, part of the safe sport says you shouldn't interact with a kid one on one, especially in an isolated situation. Okay. So you have to, as a coach, you have to be aware that, hey, I cannot drop your kid off at your house after practice because that child and myself is going to be in the vehicle alone, and that is a no-no.
I like that rule.
Okay. That is a no. Okay.
I like that rule, Collie. What is it called? Safe space?
It's a safe sport.
Safe
The whole
sport.
the whole um the whole program is called Safe Sport, but it goes through a whole host of different things, including things like bullying and what you call bullying, you know, hazing, where um, to be accepted into a group, they they put you through a ritual. Again, that's a no-no. If you're going to be a part of this team, you don't have to go through a ritual that the team has. Okay, it's. I mean, I was at the track a couple months ago, and one of the things that really disturbed me was this coach put this kid to run a 400, and kid ran the 400, did not produce the time that the coach wanted that child to run. And he said to the kid, "You're going to run that 400 until you give me the time that I'm asking you for." That's basically abuse. That is, I mean, I don't know how a lot of coaches look at it, but if you run one 400 and you didn't produce the time, and you run second 400 and you didn't produce the time, what makes you think the third 400 is going to produce that time? At this point, the kid doesn't want to run that third 400. He ain't going to produce the time. That's,
Yeah.
you're now on the line of abuse. And the only reason why you can do that to the kid is because you are um, the person in charge. Safe Sport says that is a no-no. Safe Sport says that you can report that to the organization. You can report it up the chain to the USATF. Okay. And coaches will get suspended. Officials will get suspended for um, not following the Safe Sports guideline.
Interesting. Very, very interesting stuff there, Kali. Wow. But I like it though, because I think in everything you must have a set of rules to follow, or else people are just going to do anything that they want to do. And when you're coaching children, I think that there should be some rules, some laws to govern how you coach the children, how much you push them, how much. I think there need to be something, because I've heard athletes have told me now that they've retired that they're glad that they're out of the sport because of how their coach used to talk to them.
Yeah.
Coach used to just tell them anything. If you don't produce what the coach want at that time, the coach say just about anything. And some 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 student athletes have walked away from the sport because they think that the coach was too rough.
Oh yeah.
But
You know,
isn't that how you get better at your game though?
well, yes and no. I mean, you have to be tough,
Yeah,
abusive. You, I mean, you can coach and not be abusive, okay? Because um, you know, we don't give athletes a lot of credit because we just a lot of coaches look at it, run fast and you will win.
yeah,
But a lot of coaches don't look at the mental aspect of the race either, the mental preparation that goes into it. We don't give athletes enough credit to say that I can write you out a stage where you're supposed to go through, or I can walk you through, I can talk you through running a 400. Okay. A lot of coaches just go out there and give me 80%, 90%, 100%. A lot of athletes don't know when they're at 70, 80, 90, 100%. They don't know what their body is feeling. Okay? Again, we don't take care of the mental portion of it. But if you figure that you can push an athlete to break, then it comes down to, yes, I want to be hard, yes, I want to be tough, but I also need to understand that there's a breaking point mentally and physically. Okay?
true.
Yeah.
Well said, Kali. And we have need to have more of these discussions. And as I said to you, I talk to a lot of athletes, current athletes, retired athletes. As I said before, just call me and they just talk, and I allow them to express themselves. You know, and we have to, but independence, guy. This is us reminiscing on Jamaica track and field legacy wherever in the world you are, especially if you're a Jamaican tonight. Happy independence. And we're just looking at our track and field legacy. But before we go any further, Lily Hodges is saying, she applauded me for bringing forth all these Olympians before 1970. She's saying, excellent idea. Thank you very much, Lily. She's saying, as old as I am, I didn't even remember some of our great athletes. And this is why I like to do this. I like to do this because just to teach and to remind people of some of the great people who have done it before. Vivian Morano is speaking about Maureen Wiltshire, and she's saying she and Maureen, they were at Hampton University together for a couple of years, and they both were inducted in
Excellent.
the CII Hall of Fame in 2010. Congrats on that, Vivian. Another one of my favorites. The Olympians, they are here tonight. They turn out tonight. But Kali, before we go, we're going to have a little quiz now to get a little bit more into the legacy before we wrap up. But I'm just going to ask you some more questions. Name a champs moment that you'll never forget.
Ooh,
That should be easy.
a chance moment I'll never forget.
Yeah.
Um, I think it was 19, no, where is it? When did this guy win the high jumper champs? 19, I think it was 75. Is it no, can't be 75. It's somewhere 77, somewhere around there. Um, they call him, what did they call him? They call him Budhead. He was from Calabar, great high jumper.
Seabar.
Never forget, never forget that night at champs.
Amazing. A Calabar moment.
Calabar moment.
Indeed, indeed.
It's another one. Oh, this kid from Dintil upset upset the favorite in the 800 from out of nowhere. Little known guy won the 800. Can't remember his name either.
Good night to the Dintil people. I know quite a few Dintil people. My friend Marlene Green and the school of the great Elva Goldburn.
Okay.
Dintil Technical, the school on the hill in Linstead, St. Catherine. Your best Jamaican relay moment. Your best relay moment for Jamaica. That should be easy.
It's the record breaking team with Carter, Freighter, um,
He's from St. James. He's from Montego Bay. Went to St. Jago High School.
yes,
Won the 100 meters 2011. The youngest to have done it.
Johan Blake
Johan Blake.
and Mr. Bolt himself.
Indeed, indeed. You know what was so interesting about that 4x1? We were celebrating that year. That was the London Olympic Games in 2012, and we were celebrating Jamaica 50.
Yep.
We were celebrating one of the biggest independence celebration in Jamaica. Jamaica 50. It was indeed, indeed. Which athlete you did not see compete that you wish you had seen? Which athlete, Jamaican athlete, you did not see compete, but you wish you had seen them competing?
um, I would probably say Otto Wint.
Good pick. That's a good pick. That's a good pick. What is the funniest thing or the funniest moment you've seen in track and field as an official?
Lots of funny moments.
I want one of them. I want one that is fit for airplay.
When it's fit for here. I mean, this is probably the one with the US 4x4 relay team where they were set up on the wrong line. With the
Where?
official.
When is that? Where is that?
That was a couple of years ago.
The,
There's a couple
the official set them up at the wrong spot
spot, yeah.
at a championship?
And, championship, yeah.
Wow. I need to go and look that up.
Crazy.
I vaguely remember something, but nothing is coming. Nothing is coming. Just it sounds familiar. It sounds familiar. As an official, oh, I did ask you this question already. What's the toughest decision you ever have to make? I asked you that already. All right, part two now. Without any data, just take a wild guess. Which school do you think produced the most Olympians?
The most Olympians.
Yes.
I'd go hands down to either Veer or San Diego.
You know your stuff, man. You know the data without even seeing the data. All right, you are onto something. You are right. It is between those two schools, but which of them is the number one?
Well, I had a discussion recently, and it was said that it's San Diego.
No, sir, that is so wrong.
Said we had a discussion. It was said.
Dorothy Scott is going to be so mad at you for saying that.
I totally believe that it is actually beer.
It is there.
Okay, because and I'll tell you why. During my time at beer, I must have there must have been at least 12 between that 5 year span that I was at beer. There must have been at least 12 athletes who were Olympians.
Yes, it is indeed there. St. Jago is second, Calabar is third, Kingston College is fourth. I'm trying to remember who is fifth. I have the data. I presented the data earlier in the season before champ. So it is actually there. And what is so funny about there, and I don't know if we celebrate these schools enough, there was known for their dominance at girls champs, not at boys champs.
That boy.
There has a handful of male Olympians, a handful, maybe one hand, based on my data. And they were able to walk away with the title for the most Olympians, with mostly women, with 95% of women. So that was a good guess. That was a good guess. Okay, true or false? Lilith Hodges, Lilith Hodges. Lily Hodges, Doreen Small,
Mm-hmm.
Jackie Pusey all attended St. Mary High School. True or false? Let me go again. Lilith Hodges, Doreen Small,
So
and Jackie Pusey all attended St. Mary High School. True or false?
I'll say one thing I know. They all attended the same high school.
So, what is your answer? Is your answer true or false?
It is true.
It is true. It is true. Lily Hodges, Doreen Small, and Jackie Pusey, they are all a part of St. Mary High's legacy.
Yes.
Next question, true or false? Donald Quarry, Herb McKinley, Bert Cameron all attended Kingston College. Let me go again. Donald Quarry, Herb McKinley, Bert Cameron all attended Kingston College. True or false?
I think that's false.
That is a big, big false. Donald Quarry went to Camperdown.
Oh,
Herb McKinley went to Calabar, and Bert Cameron went to St. Jago. So that's false. You're on, man. You're on. I'm happy I did not bet you. Next, true or false? Seymour Newman is to the 800 meters, while Dorothy Scott Genius is to the long jump. True or false?
that is true.
That is true. Dorothy Scott is the first. Is who giving you the answer? Somebody giving you the answer, Carly.
I'm going to give you two things.
Okay, go ahead.
One, Seymour Newman is from Manchester.
Yes, that's correct.
Two, Seymour Newman was a better cricketer than a runner.
He was a cricketer?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, very interesting now. Wow.
Okay.
Wow, 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 wow. Etlin Tate is saying false to a question. I think she's saying false to Donald Quarry, Herb, and Bert going to Kingston College. I did not know that about Mr. Newman.
Yeah.
Wow, he was also a cricketer. Happy Independence, Jamaica. We're learning about our athletes tonight. Thank you for that. And any name I call, if you have some information, just share it with us. Okay, let's go again. True or false? Grace Jackson, Etlin Tate, Vivian Spence, Winthrop Graham are all members of the 1988 Olympic team. Let me go again. Grace Jackson, Etlin Tate, Vivian Spence, and Winthrop Graham are all members of the 1988 team, Olympic team in Seoul, Korea?
That would be true.
That would be true indeed. Wow. Man, you know your stuff. Next question. True or false? Debbie Byfield, Godfrey Murray, Ruth Williams Simpson, Henry Jackson, Evan Saunders, Vilma Charlton, Lilith Hodges, Una Morris are all members of the 1984 Olympic team.
Wow.
Let me go again. Debbie Byfield, Godfrey Murray, Ruth Williams Simpson, Henry Jackson, Evan Saunders, Vilma Charlton, Lilith Hodges, Una Morris are all members of the 1984 Olympic team. True or false? Ding, 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 ding. While he think about it, happy, happy, happy independence. Jamaica, Jamaican athletes, the Jamaican officials, everybody involved in track and field. Happy, happy independence to you anywhere you are in the world. We're just reminiscing on Jamaica's track and field legacy. Now with your answer, let me go again. Debbie Byfield,
Mhm.
Godfrey Murray, Ruth Williams Simpson, Henry Jackson, Evan Saunders, Vilma Charlton, Lilith Hodges, Una Morris are all members of the 1984 Olympic team. I think Ethelyn Tate is trying to help you, but I'm not going to read what she said.
I think um, the oddball would be Una Morris and Vilma Charlton.
So that would make it
Was.
false. It is indeed false. Can you guess which team all these athletes were on? Take one guess.
And you said that was the 84?
Yeah, I said it was 84, but that's a false. None of them were on the 1984 team. Can you guess which team they were on?
Um, I'd probably go back to the 1980 team.
Let me tell you where this game was. This Olympic Games was in Germany. What?
Munich, 1970.
1972, indeed. Munich, 1972 in Germany. All right, let's go again. True or false? The Jamaican men won 12 Olympic medals before the women won their first Olympic medal. Let's go again. The Jamaican men, true or false, the Jamaican men won 12 medals, 12 Olympic medals before the women won their first Olympic medal. True
This
or false?
one is a toughie.
It is tough.
This is,
True or false? True
huh?
or false?
Let's say false.
It's true. It's actually true.
Actually, true. Okay.
The Jamaican men won 12 medals before the Jamaican women won their first medal. Can you take a guess when the Jamaican women won their first Olympic medal and who it was?
Uh, um,
Is who you're asking the question. All right. All right. Before you said who it was,
I'm alone. So
okay, before you said who it was, when did the Jamaican women won their first Olympic medal? And I'll tell you who it is. Ding, 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 ding.
you're gonna tell me who it is?
Did you say what year you said?
Did you? I thought you were going to tell me who it was.
Yeah, I'll tell you who, but you have to tell me, you have to take a guess which year, which Olympic Games. Even if you give me the year, is fine.
Ooh.
All right, I'm going to tell you the person who won the first Olympic medal for Jamaica went to Veer Technical. That's the clue.
It would be Merlin Otti.
Merlin Otti is right.
That would be 72 or no, Gabby
No,
Munich would be 76.
No. She made her first Olympic team 1980. It was 1980 in Russia.
Was okay.
Yeah, it was at the Russia game. She won a bronze in the 200 meters. That was the first Olympic medal for the Jamaican women. Yes, sir. But you did good. You did good. You did good. But Kali, this is just a summary of our legacy. If we were to go into it more, we would be here for hours and days and days. But I just wanted to give our audience a little taste that our legacy did not start in 2008. It actually started over 100 years ago with the likes of Mr. G.C. Foster. Later on, Mr. Foggy Burrows joined the party in conditioning athletes, the likes of Arthur Wint, George Roden, Dr. Cynthia, Una Morris, Miss Vilma Charlton, and the whole world, the Byron Dice, the Seymour, all of those people, George Carr, Lennox Miller, and the whole works. We started a long time ago. The rivalry, this healthy rivalry in track and field with Jamaica and the USA, it did not start in the 21st century, which was in the 2000s. It started from as far back as 1948 with our quarter milers
Yep.
and that. But I just want to thank you all for being here tonight. Collie, thank you very, very much for sharing. I kind of changed up the script a little bit because of independence, and I wanted us to just share some stories about our legacy. But of course, I'm sure you will join me another time when we will look deeper at other things. But I just want to thank you for making the time. Thank you for being here. And I love to tell the story how I meet my guest. I love to tell that story. So, guys, if you want to know how I met Collie, I was at the Miami Slam, the Grand Slam in Miramar, the Florida Slam in Miramar, and of course he was an official there. And Miss Vilma Charlton sent me to go and look for Doreen Small, and I found Doreen Small, and she said to me, Miss Vilma said I should go and look for Joan. What's Joan's last name? Joan? Is it Labida? What's her
Abidi?
Labidi, Joan Labidi. Miss Vilma sent me to go and look for Joan. I went, I seek out Joan, I found her. And guess what? They introduced me to Collie. And Collie is here tonight. Of course, anywhere in the world you go, Jamaicans, and once it is track and field, you know we are going to talk about the things. So, guys, thank you very much for being here. Happy Independence. Enjoy your Independence weekend, because I know that Jamaicans will be celebrating all the way throughout the weekend. So, happy 63, Jamaica, and let us do it some more. And Collie, in closing, I normally give my guest an opportunity to ask me one question. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask me one question, and then we are going to wrap up. But thank you everyone for being here. While Collie think about his question, thank you. Thank you, Africa. Thank you, Europe. Thank you, Asia. Thank you, South America. Thank you, North America. Thank you, Antarctica. Thank you, Oceanic. All 7 continents. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. And I will see you next week when we will do it all over again. And all my Olympians, all my athletes, all my fans who turn out. And guys, thank you very much. I discovered something recently that I got over 300 subscribers in the last month. And I want to thank you all for subscribing. It means that I'm doing something right. Continue to share, continue to subscribe, continue to be a part of this. It is about our legacy. And guess what? We are going to find a way to document it, because it is a lot. So thank you guys, all my new subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Continue to share, continue to subscribe, continue to like. Thank you all very much. Let me catch my breath while Collie will now ask me his
I mean,
question.
make it an easy one for you.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Huh?
Jesus. Oh my God. Okay. Listen, before you ask me the question, I don't know everything about our track and field. Please, sir.
It is an easy one.
I hope so.
Jamaica first female gold medalist.
Jamaica first female gold medalist at the Olympic Games, right? Would be Dion Hemmings, formerly of York Castle, very technical, from St. Anne, now lives in Manchester.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Easy, easy, easy. I'm going to give you another. Let us ask each other questions until we get it wrong, and then we just wrap up. So my question to you, and this now is from memory. Let me see. Let me see. Let me give you an easy one. Which Jamaican middle long distance athlete had a record? Let me say, if I call the event, you're going to know. But who had the national record for the 800 meters for decades? Which male had the 800-meter record for enough years, for plenty years?
That record was just recently broken.
Yes, it was broken in the last, 2 or so years, not so long ago. And while you're thinking about your answer, I just want to say welcome and hi to my friend Dennis Allen from Trinidad and Tobago. He was in the building. Dennis, thank you very much for being here. He said, touching in from the 87868. I was about to say 876, but from the 868, which is in Trinidad and Tobago. Go ahead with your answer.
Oh,
Hmm?
and I'm thinking that it's Seymour Newman.
You're correct. Seymour Newman. He had that record forever.
Right, yeah,
And it was broken by Navasky Anderson.
the
I think
basket.
3 seasons ago. Yeah. Navasky Anderson. Your turn to ask me. Please let it be very easy.
Let it be very easy.
Make it very easy. Thank you. All right, guys. He's trying to find an easy one for me.
I'll make it an easy one.
Yes, sir.
Um, Jamaica placed 1, 2, 3 in the 100 female. Name all three.
All three. All right. So Jamaica did place 1, 2, 3 at the Olympic Games twice and at the World Championship once. Which of them you want all three ladies? The Olympic Games 2008, the Olympic Games 2021, or the World Championship 2022?
2008.
2008, it was Shelley and Fraser Price winning gold, and Sharon Simpson and Karen Stewart tied for second.
Okay.
All right. Which, huh? What was that, Collie?
Said we could be here all night.
Yeah, we could be here all night. So after this, we're going to wrap up. Okay. 1984, at the 1984 Olympic Games in Los Angeles, LA. It was LA 1984. Jamaica, the Jamaican men won a silver medal in the 4x100 meter relay. Name me two of those four men that run on the team of the final. Two. No, name me one. Just name me one.
Which year was that?
1984 in Los Angeles.
Ah,
Jamaica won silver in the 4x1. Name me one of the four men that ran in the final.
Raymond Stewart was on that team.
Oh man, you got it. Yeah. It was Raymond Stewart, Albert Lawrence, Gregory McGoo, and Who was the fourth person? I think it was Donald Quarry.
I think Corey was on that team.
Yes, Donald
Corey
Quarry.
was on that team. Yeah, I think he ran the bend.
Yeah, I think that's the four. Raymond Stewart, Albert Lawrence, Gregory McGoo, and yeah,
Corey.
Donald Quarry. Yeah, the babies were Albert and Gregory McGoo.
Gregory McGoo, yeah.
Yeah, Gregory McGoo, formerly of Saint Jago.
Now the St. Jago,
Yes, Donald Quarry and Raymond, of course.
Camperdown.
Campadon and Albert Veer.
Yeah.
Albert from Veer. But we could be here all night, so we're going to wrap it up now.
It is a pleasure.
Yes, go ahead and wrap up. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to tell you it was a pleasure talking to you. Hope your guests enjoyed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thank you for making the time to come and hang out with us. Thank you for, I know that you're a busy man and you made the time. I think his phone is ringing people at the right time. So guys, he is I think his phone rang at the right time. So guys, thank you very much for being here tonight. I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed doing this. I enjoyed sharing our legacy, bringing some data to you. I see Ethelyn Tate is having a lot of fun, and this is what I like about my audience, my athletes, you guys. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. As a Jamaican track fan, I am so happy that I am Jamaican and that I am a part of this legacy that you guys have created. Thank you very much. So happy independence, Jamaica. Happy independence to all our athletes and all our athletes who will be going off in a few weeks to represent us in Tokyo at the World Championship. Thank you guys very much. Thank you all for being here. Please to share this so others can watch and learn something about our legacy. Thank you guys. Thank you guys very much. Happy independence once more to Jamaica. Happy 63rd birthday to Jamaica. Jamaica's independence was born in 1962. Thank you everyone, wherever you are, wherever you tune in from. Thank you for taking some time out to be here. Ethelyn Tate, always a troublemaker, and of course a lot of fun. Lily Hodges was also here. Dorothy Scott, genius. She wasn't happy when my guest said that St. Jago has the most Olympian. It's actually very technical. Yvonne Saunders was here, 1972 Olympian. Vivian Spence, 1988 Olympian, was also here. Lily Hodges, Trinidad and Tobago was in the building. Also, thank you all for turning out. Monica Lewis, blessings all the way. Daniel England was also here. Carrie Ann Phillips, Coach's Desk, big up yourself. Tony P was also here. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. And I will see you next week. Have a great night, okay? Ta. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Jamaica's track and field legacy is unmatched. It is a story of triumph, resilience, and extraordinary talent. But do you know the stories behind the athletes who brought us glory? Hi, I'm HP, founder of HP Chat Track. My mission is simple: to celebrate the rich legacy of Jamaica track and field and shine a light on the incredible people who make it happen. Winning that race was a dream come true, but the journey wasn't easy. It's not just about medals, it's about inspiring the next generation. Jamaica track and field isn't just a sport, it's our pride, our culture, our heart. Every week I sit down with athletes, coaches and fans to bring you stories of dedication, passion and legacy. Plus, we've got exciting news and exclusive insights into the world of track and field. Make your Thursday night be at HP's place. Come hang out with us at HP Chat Track Studio, where track and field is our business. Jamaica. One people, one legacy.